if it isn't the movie that nobody's looking forward to. I'm just kidding. I'm looking very much forward to Ant-Man, which is coming up on July the 17th, 2015. It comes out stateside. What we're going to be watching today is the new TV spot for Ant-Man. And I've been pretty excited for this movie since it was announced years and years ago, around the same time that Iron Man was announced back in the early, I would say the mid-2000s. This was going to be either the first or second movie from Marvel initially, and brought on board was Edgar Wright to direct. I know a lot of people were excited about Edgar Wright being on the project, myself included. But when things kind of had a falling out between Edgar Wright and Marvel somewhere along the way, mainly because the movie kept getting delayed and creative differences in the script and all sorts of other things. But Edgar Wright decided to bow out for reasons that I can't really deny. I mean, if the Marvel MCU, if the state of the MCU had changed so much by the time they got to getting ready to produce this movie, and it wasn't the vision that he initially created, and they couldn't find any middle ground, it's better to leave than to compromise so much that your own vision is lost. So I have no angst to Edgar Wright. Matter of fact, he's one of my favorite directors. I look forward to what else he's doing. They brought on a new director in the name of Peyton Reed, who's directed some comedies in the past. He was also a big part. He was a big director for Mr. Show with Bob and David. And if you guys know Bob Odenkirk and David Cross. Gosh, I was about to say David Odenkirk. About to mess that name up. If you guys are familiar with those comedians, some of the best comedians around, and they played some of the most memorable roles around. They used to have a show on HBO, which Peyton Reed was one of the directors for. Worked on that show. It's really funny. He's had some hits and misses. I know he directed Yes Man with Jim Carrey, as well as some other movies. So I know not a lot of people were excited about Peyton Reed coming to direct the movie over someone like Edgar Wright, who, a lot of nerds like myself love Edgar Wright's films because of the tone and the feel and the way he approaches the subject. But I'm not too angry with Peyton Reed being on the project. Someone has to come out to direct, and if anything, this is his chance to really blow us away with a movie like this. Also starring in the movie is Paul Rudd, which I was excited to hear. He'll always be Super Nintendo Rudd to me. If you guys grew up in the 90s, you may have seen that Super Nintendo Premiere commercial where Paul Rudd is playing on all sorts of games on the Super NES, like some of the launch titles he's demoing in front of a bunch of people, and it's projected on the film on the silver screen, basically. And Paul Rudd's in that commercial. I didn't even realize until years later when someone pointed it out to me on YouTube that was Paul Rudd in that commercial, and it's tickled me pink ever since. I've enjoyed him in movies like Anchorman and The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and I remember that movie that he was in with. He played Role Models. That's it, Role Models. That movie is hilarious. If you've never seen it uncut, that's a classic. But yeah, he's always impressed me. I know some people that may not be crazy about him, but I've always enjoyed Paul Rudd's work, man. And I'm glad to see him in this movie. I know he's going to be able to do this movie justice. And he also actually helped to write the rewrite for the script, along with Adam McKay, who a lot of people remember from being the director of Step Brothers and the Anchorman movies and so many other comedy classics. Also in the movie is Corey Stoll, who plays Yellow Jacket, and he looks to be an intimidating villain in this. I hope that he comes through. The Yellow Jacket's character's name actually is Darren Cross, and he plays the CEO of PIM Technologies, who I guess is using the technology of the PIM particles for his own gain, ill-gotten gains, and that's why he becomes Yellow Jacket. Someone who has powers similar to Ant-Man is able to shrink and grow by utilizing the PIM particles. So I can't wait to see these two fight. Look how small Ant-Man is in that shot. He's about to get that five-knuckle shuffle all over his face, but I guess we'll see how that fight pans out. The second trailer that dropped was really impressive. I found it hilarious, especially the Thomas the Tank Engine scene, and it makes me wonder what's new in this new TV spot when we check it out. But here's another shot of I guess Ant-Man getting ready to either don the suit or steal the suit initially. Paul Rudd is playing he's playing Scott Lang, which is in the comics the second Ant-Man, former thief, turned hero because of circumstances. Also, the father of a young daughter, and I don't know if he's estranged from her or whatnot, but I know she has some kind of medical condition that he has to go into a life of crime in order to pay for her medical treatment. So even though he's doing wrong, he's got good reasons for what he's doing. He eventually gets caught and goes to jail, and then Hank Pym, who is the original Ant-Man, it recruits his help in order to do some good again and actually get paid for doing that too. So it'll be interesting to see exactly his progression as a character in this movie. Hank Pym, by the way, is played by Michael Douglas, my boy Mikey Doug. He plays the original Hank Pym, and I guess in the movie somewhere there's a flashback where you get to see Hank Pym as a young man going on missions for S.H.I.E.L.D. and working for Agent Carter, or Peggy Carter, I should say. By that time, she's not agent. She's running the whole damn organization. And you also see a cameo from Howard Stark, played by John Slattery from Mad Men. He's reprising his role as Howard Stark from Iron Man 2. Not one of the best Iron Mans, but he was one of the better parts about that movie, and it's cool to see him come back and reprise that role. Hopefully that won't be the last time we see him play Howard Stark either. But yeah, Ant-Man looks to be a lot of fun. It's a movie that people are underestimating how good it could be. Much like Guardians of the Galaxy when that dropped last year. When that came out last year, all the talk I heard about that movie is like, you mean that movie with the talking tree and raccoon? That movie's gonna be dumb. A lot of people underestimated that movie all the way up until it released, and then they got amazing word of mouth and praise, and then everybody and their mother went to go see it as if it was some kind of cultural event. And it was a movie that had a lot of potential, and it met it, if not exceeded it. And I think that Ant-Man can do that too, especially since the trailers kind of take the piss out of the movie itself when they talk about the name of the Ant-Man itself. You know, the main character's shitting on the name and everybody else is shitting on the name, but there's gonna be a progression in the movie where he accepts the name and he's more proud of it once he gets more suited to the role. I'm looking forward to that because it is a lot of tongue-in-cheek in this film. It's written as a comedy, but it's also a heist film from what they've described. And let's check out this TV spot. Let's see what's going on in it. Let's see what's new.
A soldier the size of an insect. The ultimate secret weapon.
They go stole, man.
Be skillful, agile, fast.
Look at this guy putting in work.
I need you to be the Ant-Man. Makes sense.
Makes sense?
Awesome.
The suit has power.
His
You
reactions.
have to learn how to control it. When you're small, you have superhuman strength. You like a bullet.
What?
You tried to hide your
Look like he snapped his neck, man.
It's gonna blow up in your face.
Pick on
Stole
someone
going
your
in.
own size.
But what's Mikey Doug gonna do?
There's no reason to be scared.
Oh, no, Daddy don't get scared.
Really?
How'd you do that, bro?
Look at your shoulder.
Yo, that's awesome.
Everywhere,
Yo, Michael
17th.
Pena, man. It's good to see him, man.
Soldier
My favorite chulo.
size of an insect.
I gotta see
the
this again.
ultimate secret weapon.
Scott, you're different.
Scott.
Skillful, agile, fast. I need you.
Yo,
to
even
be
Michael
the
Douglas, I
Ant-Man.
heard in interviews, is hyped to be in this movie, man. Maybe he's trying to sell the film, but Michael Douglas is at that age where if he's not hype about shit, he probably doesn't get hype about shit unless he really believes in it. It's pretty dope they got him to play Hank Pym. I know people are upset. Hank Pym is like older man in this movie, and he's not like the young Avenger to team up with them. But I think Scott Lang was the right choice.
It's gonna blow up in your face.
Pick on someone your own size.
He's in that gray area that I like characters to be in, so he's not like straight up hero. And Hank Pym is old and bitter, man. That's how I like my
There's no
Hank
reason to
Pyms.
be scared.
Oh, no, Daddy don't get scared.
Pena, son.
Really?
Look, the whole crew wilding out. Look at
How'd you do that,
look
bro?
at T.I.
Look at your shoulder. Ant-Man.
Everywhere, July 17th.
Freaking awesome. Yo, shout outs to everybody in that movie. That's freaking I enjoyed that spot. It's not as good as the second spot, the second trailer I should say, but it's definitely good for what a TV spot needs to be on television, which is quick, fast, and catches the eye. I really hope that people go out and see this movie, man. I mean, after 12 MCU films, the majority of which have been great, I figured that at this point, the benefit of the doubt could be given Marvel. I mean, it's up to them to keep the train going. No pun intended to Thomas the Tank Engine, but it's up to them to keep the train rolling with this and not drop a dud, because if they do, that could definitely not fare well for Civil War coming up, especially since Ant-Man is also in Civil War. At least old Paul Rudd playing Scott Lang is in it. There's been pictures of him being seen on the set of the movie, and which has got me excited. There he goes right there, boy, with, of course, Anthony motherfucking Mackie signed. Let's go! It's good to see him there, man. I can't wait to see what his role is. I really hope there's a team-up between him and Hawkeye in the movie, because there's a notorious team-up between the two where Hawkeye shoots an arrow with Ant-Man on it, and then as soon as the arrow gets near his opponent, he uppercuts the shit out of the person when he goes full size. So that's pretty cool, and I hope they have that team up in the movie. It looks like him and Mackie are having some rapport, so I hope that they have scenes together too. Just put a bunch of funny cats in the same room and let's see what happens. I hope they get to ad-lib some, because Paul Rudd is an ad-lib master. He can ad-lib with the best of them. He's worked on enough Adam McKay movies in order to get a shot at ad-libbing, so I hope they really give him takes of his own to do in this movie, as well as in Ant-Man. I'm pretty sure in Ant-Man they got to ad-lib quite a bit, especially since he helped to punch up the script. But yeah, Civil War is currently filming in Atlanta right now and other places around the world, and has a huge cast. I don't expect his role to be big in the movie, but it should be hopefully memorable, and hopefully we already are fond of his character after the movie drops. So we'll see. But yeah, the set pieces in this movie should be amazing. I remember hearing that they had a special unit called the macro unit, or was it the micro unit or the macro unit, which not a lot of movies ever had. I think they actually set the record for doing this in this film, where they actually set a team of production people in the production crew to film all the miniatures and all the set pieces from a smaller angle or smaller perspective. So it's gonna make watching the set pieces in this movie pretty dope. And already judging from the trailer and seeing exactly what they have Scott doing, it's pretty magnificent, man. The fights between him and Yellow Jacket should be freaking phenomenal. But yeah, big things coming up for the MCU, no pun intended, with Ant-Man. And my boy old Super Nintendo Rudd, man, I think he's gonna blow the roof off this role, man. I could be dead ass wrong in a few weeks, but I guess we'll see. But again, I'm hyped to see this movie. I know a lot of people aren't, but then again, I implore people to remember exactly how you felt about Guardians of the Galaxy before they came out. That was a very little known property. Not many people knew about it, and people who did read the comics already knew that movie was going to be incredible. The rest of us were quite unsure. I already gave Marvel my benefit of the doubt, because it was a saga in space with a bunch of eccentric characters of the like we've never seen before. So, and we've never seen anything like this either in the Marvel Universe, so it's going to be pretty interesting. And plus, with this movie, we're not only going to get a flashback to how S.H.I.E.L.D. operated in the 60s or the 70s, Evangeline Lilly's in the movie too, who potentially will be the next Wasp, or playing Wasp in this universe. So we don't even see any of that in the trailer. If she becomes Wasp in this movie, that's going to be pretty interesting, or at least if they build up to that, that'll be cool. They may save that for either Civil War or for the inevitable next Avengers movie, Infinity War, and we might get to see that there. But at least she's in the movie, and she's a definite presence. You see her a little bit in the trailer, but in this TV spot, but you don't see her. Actually, you see her more in the actual trailers. So if you haven't seen the second trailer, I definitely would check that out. If you weren't sold on the first one, the teaser trailer was kind of lackluster. I really wasn't feeling it all that much, although, you know, I still am excited to see the movie. It didn't really impress me like the first Guardians trailer did. But the second trailer impressed me a lot, and that TV spot hit all the right notes. So I'm glad to see that it's carrying the right tone that the movie should be reflecting, which is going to be an action comedy with a heist involved. So it's gonna be pretty fun, man. If you guys have any thoughts on the movie, if you're excited or not excited, feel free to express that down below in the comments. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Again, my name is Bro Ryu with Shinjuku Station Podcasting, and thank you again for watching yet again another Shin Trailers Reactions. We'll see you next time.